Match day 2 in the Canadian Premier League is complete. Vancouver lose again, this time 4-1 at home to Atlético Ottawa. Don't worry, Vancouver fans. You got Cavalry next. CPL on TSN Friday night. It's Good Friday. We'll hope it will be a great Friday for Vancouver this time around. Gareth Wheeler, Jordan Wilson, and JC himself, the big man, John Conway, joining us here for Match Night.
Good to be here, boys.
As we spin you
Good to be
around.
here.
Everything to do with Canadian soccer. We'll start in the Canadian Premier League, where we left off with your Match Day 2 official results. Forge go to Pacific, cruise control. 2-0 victory over Pacific. It was anything but Mission Impossible. Halifax Wanderers, you thought it was Mission Impossible winning away from home.
I did.
Come away with a 2-1 victory over York United. Come from behind victory at that. In Atletico Ottawa, I mean, it could have been 6. It could have been 7. 8, John? Would you go that high?
I'd go that high.
8?
Sam Salter had at least 4 or 5.
At the end of the day, it's 3 points for Atletico Ottawa. Here's your up-to-date table. Cavalry and Valor were being lazy this week. Week 2, already a bye week. We showed up this week, Jordan.
We did. They had their feet crossed.
Looking forward to seeing both back in action next weekend as well. Let's start where we left off. That 4-1 victory at Atletico Ottawa, defeating Vancouver. It was thorough. It could have been more. I asked Jordan Wilson the question at halftime whether this was a case of Atletico Ottawa being very, very good on the day, or was it, John Conway, the fact that Vancouver FC just were exceptionally poor?
Yeah, I think it was a little bit of both, actually. The Vancouver FC was poor, but Ottawa was excellent. This guy had a match on the dribble, doing whatever he wanted today, just right through the middle of Vancouver all day long.
He was like this last week, too.
Wasn't just him,
David
though.
Rodriguez.
Anybody who got on the ball had plenty of space to dribble, and he was excellent.
It needs to be said, though, about Vancouver. Like, this is beyond poor.
Too easy to play right through.
Way too easy. You train all week for match day. Match day comes, and you're like letting guys skip past you. Come on. Someone has to step up, put in a tackle. We do this week in and week out, Wheels. We've done this season now upon season. It has to change. There has to be a difference.
But is it effort? Like, there's individual errors. I'm more worried about the lack of connectedness between the team. Like, the midfield and the defense, like the 3 phases are just, they're far too apart. No one's connected. This is just an error. Like, Callum will own that. That's a mistake. But structurally, John, just it's nowhere near good enough.
No, the midfield's just getting overrun, especially in this game with the talent that Ottawa has in the midfield. And they get one back. Good on Terran Campbell opening his account, but they just get overrun in the midfield. And the group that Ottawa has, last week they didn't start Manny, came in the second half, makes a difference. This week they started Castro, Zapatero is even there. They sub on Verhoeven, and they still just keep it ticking over.
Yeah,
I mean, their structure is great for
full
me,
Monty.
The way they build
Monty
out.
Patterson opening his CPL account as well. Jordan?
It looks like the 11 that are playing against Vancouver, and Vancouver's playing with 8. They're just reactive. They're late to second balls. They're not connected. This is going to be a long season if this is how you're playing. Something has to change within the locker room. I'm telling you, if I'm a Vancouver FC player, like, this is the time where you're throwing the garbage bins, you're flipping the tables a little bit. Because regardless, outside of tactics, you have to defend and play with some pride. There's no pride right now.
They still have 4 or 5 more players coming in. I will say the consolation is that Campbell goal. It's his first goal. He broke a streak of 19 Canadian Premier League regular season and postseason games without scoring. And now he's on 40. Scored the most in CPL history as well.
It's also Campbell-like goal.
Yeah.
Like touch, finish, running in behind, left foot. There's a lot to like. There's a lot to get behind. If you can get Diaz going as well, that's a positive.
I mentioned this in the broadcast. 19, he had like 10. 21, he had 11. 23, he had 10. 25, he's opened up his account. I mean, he's an odd-year player. He likes to play on odd years.
There you go. So maybe that's good news. I will say this about Atletico Ottawa. They had 3.25 expected goals in the 2-2 result last weekend, 3.79 in this one. And like we said, it could have been more. David Rodriguez looks to be a special player for Atletico Ottawa, and he got to catch up with AGR, Alexander Gange-Ruzik, after this one here tonight.
David, big result for your team here on the road. 3 points, lots of goals. What'd you make of this one?
Last game we have a pretty rough game. We come back, and today's game, it was confident win, It was not to come and stay back. It was just come and attack and get the 3 points.
And what worked for your attack today? It felt like you guys were getting into good spaces, good movement. How would you describe it?
You know, it's what we've been doing during preseason and the first game. It's our style, and we have a pretty good team, and everyone has good quality to play in between lines and everything, you know?
And you scored a nice goal. Take us through that one.
You know, it just comes naturally.
I would say 2 goals in 2 weeks. How are you finding your adaptation to the CPL so far?
It's been pretty good, you know? At the end, it's just all the team effort, you know? It makes me a better player, and I make them better players.
And just, lastly, take us through that connection as well. We kind of see it on, the assist you bring to Kevin, just the celebrations. Talk about the unity you guys kind of have and how, especially in attack, the way you're gelling.
Like I told you, we have a connection inside and outside the field. It's just not a soccer team. We're a family, and as you can see, when we score goals, it's just not the guy who scores that celebrates. You know, we have a pretty good team and good connection, so that's the most important thing about the team right now.
Awesome, congratulations. Go celebrate with your teammates.
Thank you.
David Rodriguez making himself at home, looks to become a household name in the CPL as well. John, I remember when North Texas came to Toronto FC in the training ground to play TFC 2. This is when these players were like 16 years of age or so. David Rodriguez was part of that group with Ricardo Pepi and Tanner Tessman. Like, they're a footballing factory. And this player, you can tell, has pedigree, he has talent, and now he's getting a chance to show that ability.
He was unbelievable in the last 2 games, but by far the best player in the league at the moment. He is so explosive on the dribble. Not only that, the composure he had to lay that ball off to Dos Santos with the pace that he laid it off so that Dos Santos could just come in and fire it home. Very good understanding of what they want to do. And I think it's just a really good dynamic of players. Each player in this group has a role. They understand the patterns. They understand how they want to attack and how they want to build out, and they take advantage of numbers. They do a good job keeping guys high and wide, spreading the ball wide, and then opening it up and getting the team to shift. And as soon as the opponent shifts over, they're able to connect through and get back the other way and open teams up. It's excellent.
See, the thing is, they had good players last year, Jordan.
Yeah.
But now this style of play, like, the contrast couldn't be any greater between what we saw from Carlos Gonzalez and now, although it's just a small sample size, what we've seen under Diego Mejia.
This is why fans of the club have been frustrated for a while, because you look at the framework, and I go down the list of players that have been a part of this program, a part of this team. 7 for me that could have played an attacking style but never did. Now you have a Rodriguez coming in, and all of a sudden you're like, okay.
Yeah.
We have a Castro who had a game as well. But look at the framework. Didic, Aparicio, Salter, Tabla, Dos Santos. These are players that they had last season, but they just didn't play this type of football. Yeah. Now they're players that are saying, go express yourself. This is how we're going to play. To your point, switch the ball, play in between the seams. But now they're thinking attacking football. And this is their only chance of Atletico Ottawa to go the distance, is to play this type of way. The defense, the boring Monday style, is of the past. This is the future.
I'm going to say it right into the camera. Atletico Ottawa, your supporters, not boring.
We like it.
Not boring.
You like it.
This is really
Love
good.
it. Love
and
it.
I'm going to use another word, contender. Atletico Ottawa is a contender. Earlier in the day on Sunday from York Lions Stadium, it was York United and Halifax Wanderers. York scored in the first half. John, I want you to break down the equalizer in a moment, but York United, it was one-way traffic in the first half, and they held a 1-0 lead, and it was deservedly so. Gabi Batar with a great goal, and the service from Adonijah Reed, outstanding.
York United found that joy on that left side for them. Ferrazzo had a field day against Bahambula, but for me, they're playing too cute, and Adonijah does the cutest little back heel, but Batar swings his foot around that, John, instepped. And do you think that should have been saved?
Yeah, I do. When I watch the replay,
I want you to break this one down, John. Where does the
this is so
responsibility go?
difficult for the goalkeeper. He has to be honest here to stay on his line because he's not sure where the contact's coming from. He has to rely on his defenders there to deal with that ball. It's not a ball that's high enough in the air where he can come out and collect it or make a play. He's got to rely on his defenders to deal with that ball there.
Coimbra's running through.
Coimbra.
Beautiful, beautiful. Just puts on a platter. Like, you got to split the center backs, especially when they play in a 3, but just waits and chips it over Pavella. This is a beautiful finish.
It's not a Coimbra goal without the celebration and the jersey off.
Like,
caution. What do you think? What do you think? That's a match winner.
I don't love it, but who
Thiago
cares? Have
Coimbra.
I scored a match winner? He scored it. Go ahead,
Breakout
buddy.
season for
Go
Thiago
ahead.
Coimbra, by the way. Wasn't fit. First game, came into this one and provided a goal. That seems to be kind of the missing ingredient, or one of them, for Halifax. And the stat, courtesy of Christian Jack, only the second time in club history, away from home, they've come from being down in a game to go on and win it.
That is a wild stat.
It was like 2022 against FC Edmonton was the only other time. So what do you make of that? Like, they needed this win to get their season kick-started, unlike the last two campaigns, and the form away from home hasn't been good enough. Check for Halifax.
This is a confidence booster. They need to start games better, though. I don't think you can get through or be where they want to be playing the 45 that they did. But to turn it around, John, that has to be a bright spark for sure.
Definitely a bright spot. Obviously, last week when they were up 2-0, the game changed in the second half against Ottawa. Manny Aparicio, who arguably is the best player in the league, if not one of the best players, comes in and changes the game for Ottawa, and they come back storming. Now, Rodriguez has a hand in that too. This week, you know, they had to do it differently. They had to go on the road. They had, again, to find a way to win, and they do it and come back. And all this builds confidence within your group. If you can pinch points and wins on the road, it just gels the group more and more.
Just one win away from home last year for Halifax Wanderers. Just want to say they went 8 games without a win. Their first win in 2023 came June 10th. Last year, their first regular season win came June 23rd. So April 13th looks a lot better. By the way, things are very chippy between these teams. We'll get into it in our OneSoccer Today comments. Some of the comments made by Probo post-match about York United players simulating, going to the ground. We'll break all of that down over the course of the week. We need to get to the Saturday fixture. Forge FC looking like the regular season champions that they were last year. The Shield holders went cross-country to Pacific, and I think we all rated Pacific based upon the way they played in their first game. But it was emphatic. 2 goals on set pieces. Kadeem Kane, the stand-in right back, gets the first, and Ashley Odianson in the second half off another set piece. Both well-designed, well-executed, and Forge cruised in this one, Jordan.
Yeah, they do. I'm just going to highlight the big moments. Obviously, Kane, the 19-year-old who normally plays in the middle, had a game at the right back position, man of the match performance. But again, set pieces, this is the difference between good and great. This team finds a way to keep adding on, and look at this.
This is not the ensuing corner kick from that Becker strike.
Look at that. Like, that is honestly perfect. He doesn't even need to look at the goal, just a flick on header, the pace that corner is taken from Tristan Borges. That's class, John.
Whipped in, near post, first contact.
By design.
It's always going to be trouble. If you're defending that, you have to be able to bump guys off, not let them get there cleanly. Pacific doesn't, and they're able to get a nice clean header, flick on, too easy.
Everyone talks about Ashley Odianson as a defender or a midfielder, but like him on set pieces, he's very dangerous with his timing, his early jump. It's just knocked for goal. Like, he knows how to get it in.
It's just this Forge team, every year they just continue to tick over. And Brian Wright's not confident. He's not firing yet. Once that ingredient comes in, John, this team has the potential to be pretty scary good this year.
Yeah, right now relying on some set pieces to get some goals, and sometimes you need to do that, especially away from home, and they choreographed that first one perfectly. But once Brian Wright starts to get his footing, starts to put a couple in the back of the net, it's trouble. Because I think this guy's going to score in bunches. And right now he's just struggling to find his form. I mean, you see the way he sets up to hit some shots. It's just not clean enough yet. The touch isn't clean enough. The ability to set the ball up and be able to strike through it is not there. And once he starts getting that going, feeling a bit more comfortable at Forge, I think teams are going to be in trouble.
All right, so Forge leading the way here very early to start the Canadian Premier League's campaign in 2025.